Lynessa Paladin is a archetype that has been played for the last few expansions since the start of Perils of Paradise. It initially involved using Pipsy Paladin, but since the nerf to the two rogue cards, the Con Man, the new archetype that can be used with Lynessa is just simply using Lynessa with a bunch of the different burn spells. This deck is able to climb ladder. It's one of the most popular and powerful or high win rate archetypes in Legend for Paladin and also for most of the decks. The idea of Lynessa Paladin is to cycle through your deck quickly using Ethereal Oracle, using Robocallers, to draw a lot of cards that you can throughout the game. And then the end game, the idea is to burst down your opponent using Lynessa and a bunch of your cheap spells. It can either be using the Horn to use Winfrey and then use the 1 mana spell that gives you Divine Shield and then an extra attack each time, so you can burst them down quite easily using that. Or it can be using the different cheap spells, such as the one that's discovered through Mixologist, or the when you have used a holy spell, the glow sticks can be used as well to burst down your opponent. The cards you want to mulligan for in this deck is you want to mulligan for your Miracle Salesman, you want to mulligan for your the 2 mana Divine Shield, the Hi Ho Dragon, you want to mulligan for Ethereal Oracle, Mixologist, and then for your 3 mana weapon. These cards are pivotal for you to be establishing tempo while also then being able to burst down your opponent later on in the game. When you use your Miracle Salesman, getting the snake oil, it's quite important that you keep it in your hand. If you do end up needing to, like it's a desperate, you need to draw a card, that's when you use it, but it's not that common that you do want to use it. You want to use it as an actual spell activator for Ethereal Oracle, because with Ethereal Oracle, it still does deal with 1 damage, and then it draws you some more cards through the Ethereal Oracle spell burst. So going into the game that I'm currently playing against another Lynessa Paladin. We've both established our boards relatively well. It looks like their deck is running the gold panna rather than using the cultist. The idea of the cultist for this is to slow the opponent down for using their spells, and making it so they have a little bit of trouble not only clearing the board but also then establishing the tempo that's there for it. It's quite similar to how Rogue is using the Stomper to prevent the burst turn that the opponent could have. I did notice as well that they had a few of the coins in their hands, so that's the reason why I played it on that turn rather than another turn. So they've ended up being able to do a little bit of damage to my... Oh, sorry, another mulligan card is Living Horizon as well that you want. Another thing that you want to be doing as well with the deck is using the Robocaller when you have the certain cards that you want. You want to make it so it gets as much value as possible. Sometimes that can be using it when it has the 7 to be able to get your Titan. And then it could also be using it when you have your 5 to be able to get Lynessa. Incendius obviously can be used in this deck. I don't believe I use it at all during any of these gameplay footages, but it can be useful to help clear your board, and then Ethereal Oracle can be used in combination with it to deal extra spell damage burst, but also to clear your opponent's board too. So what I end up doing here is I'm just establishing tempo. So I don't have Lynessa in my hand, but I do have a lot of burst from what is sitting in my hand right now. And since they're on 18 health, it is quite easy that I'll be able to take them out in the following turns. Using the prismatic beam that they just did meant that they essentially use their entire turn just to use that. They're not actually establishing very much by just putting the prismatic beam onto the field. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to play my Titan down, and then I'm going to draw the extra 2 cards, because it could get me the minions that I need, which is the reason why I play it down. I did draw into Incendius and I drew into Lynessa, and that essentially is going to just sum up the game, because I can use Lynessa the following turn, and then I can burst down the opponent using the different spells that I've got in my hand. So I believe they will just concede once I do end up just playing down Lynessa. They've got their Incendius, but it doesn't really mean too much considering that I've got what I need to in this hand. because with the O Manager, you can use it to get you extra coins as well. I do play down the Mixologist with this hand as well, just to see if I can get the 3 damage burst with it. I pick Armor in this situation because I don't want them to be able to burst me down as well. I also pick the one that's the draw a card. I play down Lynessa first, and then I do the one that gains armor and draws a card just to make, and I check to make sure that I won't be overdrawing using that. And then they end up conceding because I've got Lynessa on the board, and it's just assumed that I will be able to win from there. This game against Priest, it's quite similar that you want to be doing because they're usually going to be playing Zamari Priest. You want to be mulliganing for your cards to establish tempo. I also kept the Robocaller for this hand since I've already got my 1-2. I wanted a 3-drop, and if I could use it on turn 2 with the coin if it is cycling to important cards for me. I end up playing down the Miracle Salesman like you should be pretty much always on turn 1 if you have it. It's such a strong 1-drop, and being able to have the Snake Oil in your hand is a good activator for Ethereal Oracle, like I mentioned earlier. And just while they're choosing their cards, it's please subscribe and like this video if you are enjoying the content. So I've got Robocaller that is just on a 0, 1, and 3. It can draw me 2 cards at the moment since I don't have any 0 drops in my deck, but it's not really going to be that useful for me at this current point in time, just doing a 1 and a 3, because I have a lot of 3 drops in there as well. They end up using their spell, which means that they're not establishing any tempo or anything right now. I've got a 4, 7, and 3. That will get me 3 cards. So I'm just considering using the Robocaller now, because it can also get me my Titan out of my deck too. I end up using it, so I get my Glow Sticks, I get my Titan, I get my Ethereal Oracle. And since I don't want to overdraw, I play down the coin as well. And then I'm just deciding whether to trade the Snake Oil or not. Since I got Ethereal Oracle into my hand, but I don't have any other low activators, I do want to just trade it away. So my opponent now is sitting with quite a low tempo board. They've just played down 2 of their minions, and I've just got Metal Detector, which is quite strong for me. So I'm going to be playing down the Metal Detector on the following turn, trading into the 2-3. And then I'm not going to trade into the 2-2 because I don't really, like, they're going to have to trade into me if they want to do anything. So I just go face with this damage to deal the extra damage that's there. It's more than likely that they will use this as a pseudo taunt since I have a little bit extra attack. So I'm able to deal some damage to their opponent while they have to do the trade into me. Them playing down ETC, I don't really think that many Zamari priests play down ETC, which is interesting for me. I'm not actually sure what's inside their band, but either way, I don't think it ends up coming out during this gameplay anyway. I get another Ethereal Oracle, so my options is either just playing down the Mixologist and seeing what I get, or I can play down the Grifter to see what card I get with that. I don't end up getting the spell damage one, so I end up getting the Amulet of Studies to reduce down the cost of my hand. This is quite useful because I have so many combo activators in my hand along with the horn as well. So they end up drawing their card. Next turn I have a few different options of what I want to do. I can clear their board using my Ethereal Oracles plus the other things, or I can use Mixologist to get an extra card and see what I end up getting. I can use the Horn to establish more tempo onto the opponent's board. So I've got Grifter down on the field. I also get another Metal Detector. I'm keeping a coin in my hand because it's quite useful with Lynessa, because when you use Lynessa, it combos any of your spells that cost 2 or less, and you can use them twice. Coin obviously costing 0 means it activates twice and you get 2 mana crystals like the old Innovate used to. I play down Lynessa here, and then I use my coin because I don't want to overdraw, and then I'm drawing my 2 extra minions here. Obviously drawing into Living Salesman, Living Horizon means that I don't overdraw in the following turn either. And then I end up just passing my turn. So I don't have Lynessa right now, but I do have quite a lot of damage that's sitting in my hand with both the Ethereal Oracles that are cost 2. And they end up just using a Scale Replica, so it's not too much of an issue for me there. So that will draw their Time Winder since they do have the Clay Dragon in their hand. And then they use Chilling Vol'jin, so they're able to they're using that so then they can trade into my my Titan. and it gets rid of it from the board, because it can be quite useful to just establish tempo using the Titan. So once you've drawn the cards for the combo, it can be useful, or even sometimes before, if you have a few minions on the board, it can be more useful just playing down the Titan and then just making your board a lot stronger by using the 2/2 buff on it. Right here, I'm just deciding how best to trade into them. I would prefer having more health than less, obviously. So I trade the Horn into the Dragon. I then trade out the Ethereal Oracle just in case they have some sort of spell in their hand that bursts me down, because they still could have Snake Oils, but they also could still have their last of their Dragon that AoEs the board. And then I just deal the damage to the opponent's face. With the Horn in my hand, with the Horn active at the moment, it means that I can also use it to burst my opponent down too by using the win-free element of it. They only have one damage taunts as well, so in this next turn I will be using... I have the combo in my hand that I'm just calculating while they're doing this Mixologist, because I have the 2 Ethereal Oracles, which give an extra spell damage. I also can deal 6 using 12 using the glow sticks, and then I also have my own managers too, so I can deal a lot of damage right now just coming from my hand. They end up using the Snake Oil with their Ethereal Oracle, so that draws them some extra cards, and then they trade into my Living Horizon. So this turn here, I have both Ethereal Oracles once again, like I just mentioned earlier. I also have my Ho Silverwing. So I want to, in this turn, play down my Ethereal Oracle so I can draw an extra card, because I'm wanting to also get the Divine Shield, which reduces down the cost of those glow sticks, which means I'll have enough in my... enough. I then use the O Manager, because I am hoping once again to get the Divine Brew, since I do have most of them that are there. I play down my coin, because I also don't want to be overdrawing. That's the reason why I use the that's the reason why I played down the and I'm just right now counting up what I've got in my hand. So I use the second O Manager. It means that I get another coin, but also it means that I've got the activator to it. I did make a little bit of a misplay in terms of not playing down the Ethereal Oracle sooner, because I could have dealt a little bit more damage using the second coins that's there. But I recognize that I do have enough damage using both the Ethereal Oracles and the glow sticks in this following turn. So that second O Manager that I did, I should have played down the other Ethereal Oracle to make sure I had enough damage, but I obviously recalculated and counted that I did have enough. I'm going against another priest. Once again, it's quite often that it's Zamari Priest. Zamari Priest, you want to establish tempo quite early. This board that I end up getting... Oh, you also, with your Mulligan, you want to get Greedy Partner too, and then get the coin. If you start on the coin with Greedy Partner and a 2-drop, you can use coin Greedy Partner and then keep your coin, but also have a 2/3 minion on the board too. This turn here, going into turn 2, they usually won't have anything that's quite concerning for me, so I would just play down the Greedy Partner here. It's no point playing down the 2-drop that reduces down their spells. And then they obviously trade into my face with their 3/2. I have to use in this situation, use my 2/3 to trade into them. I'm just deciding here whether to use the Mixologist or the Silverwing. With the Silverwing, with the Mixologist, quite often you want to grab the 3 damage or the AoE, depending on the matchup that you're playing. I chose the 3 damage and the draw card because at the moment my hand is relatively weak to deal with them. Having the metal detector means that it is obviously a lot stronger, because it means that I can then start establishing some tempo on the board against them. Going into this next turn, I'm going to be using the metal detector to get me the extra coin more than likely. It does mean that I float 1 mana crystal, or I can use the coin to get it. I think I end up using the coin to make it so I'm not floating any mana, because it's important that you, in some matchups, that you are being as strong with your tempo as possible. Using the coin there meant that I could get another 3/2 onto the board, and since I'm going to be going into the Titan turn on turn 6, because of how my extra coin is coming through the metal detector, I want to be able to, to be able to deal with that. So what I end up doing in this following turn is I've just drawn to Ethereal Oracle. I can use that with the coin to draw into more cards if I want to, but I end up doing that because, once again, drawing cards is very strong in this deck. and I can then also activate my Living Horizon a bit earlier too. I get 2 managers, which is quite strong because I can use them to clear the board if I use the second coin. But I end up just using the 3-2 to trade because Zamari Priest doesn't, like, it uses an AoE sometimes, but it doesn't that often. And I do want to keep that coin that's in my hand because I can use that then to buff up with my Titan. So I use the coin this turn and I play down my Titan. I could use to grab the 2-2 costs, but I end up giving the extra health and attack to my minions, and then I trade my 2 minions, keeping Ethereal Oracle mostly alive. Since I know that they don't really have too much in their board, there isn't really a way they can get past my 1/8 since they've already used Chilling Vol'jin onto the other minion that I had there. So going into this following turn, there isn't too much that they can really do to establish tempo against this board, and I do have a Living Horizon that will be able to be followed up in the following turn, because of the fact that I didn't use my draw 2 with it the previous turn. So I draw into Lynessa here, which is quite strong. I obviously do have the O manager as well, and since my Robocaller isn't going to be getting me anything useful, I do just hold the Lynessa, and then I'm going to use the Titan to draw me the 2 minions. I end up getting Miracle Salesman and Grifter, so I grab the Grifter. I use the Grifter. I use O Manager, then I use the Grifter, because I am just trying to once again trying to establish tempo, because they don't really run too much that can deal any issues with me. So I use the coin here, I grab the Grifter, and I'm just hoping for the damage one, which I end up getting. And then with the coin and then the damage, in addition to all the other minions that are on my board, I have enough to take out the opponent quite easily. It could have been a problem using it that way if I didn't end up getting the spell damage, but once again, the likelihood of Zamari Priest running anything to kill your Lynessa is very low, especially if it's behind a big taunt like that. With this hand, I decided to full keep. Since I've got Miracle Salesman and the Mixologist and Ethereal Oracle, I didn't really want to trade either my Ethereal Oracle or Miracle Salesman. Ethereal Oracle or Mixologist, so I just ended up just playing down the Miracle Salesman. Since they've got 3 attack and 2 health, I am going to be using this to trade the Miracle Salesman into them, because I don't want to be taking any extra damage than what I need to. Obviously, they would have just gone face anyway with that 3-2 anyway, so I didn't want to do that, and also it means if they have the Halo, they can't use that onto the minion as well to be able to trade even more effectively into me. So I draw into the Hi-Ho Dragon. I'm just deciding what the best way to play this is, since they do have a 3 mana on the board. I grab the armor, and I also grab the damage, just in case I do need it to take out any of their dragons to establish tempo here. Obviously, having Ethereal Oracle in this hand is very strong, because I'm able to use that then to trade. They end up using their cheese quite early, which can be a bit problematic, especially since they've given it a little bit of health buffs as well. So I'm gonna, since my Mixologist that I did wasn't that strong for it, I'm looking for the 2 mana, the AoE, the 2 damage AoE, which I end up drawing into. If I didn't end up drawing into that, I would have been going for the damage one, and probably draw a card. So I trade my minion into the Pyromancer, and then I deal the AoE to the board. It does leave them still with 2 minions, so they do have a bit of tempo against me. But since I have Ethereal Oracle in my hand, along with Robocaller and those things, I am able to use quite a bit to deal with whatever they end up using against me. They use the Grifter here, and they get the Amulet, the draw 1. It's very... I definitely don't want to be using it until I get Lynessa in this matchup, or until I get some more high-value cards, because ultimately discarding anything can be problematic, especially if you're using a combo-based deck like this. I do have Robocaller with 5, 9, and 4. That allows me to get a Lynessa and a Glowsticks, or a Grifter. So I end up playing it down, and I was just double-checking that I had enough mana there. And then I play down my Living Horizon as well. And I believe I also play down the Miracle Salesman too, to make sure I've established tempo as best I can. Because they, with that 2-drop that's on their board, if they use a spell, it means that they are also dealing an extra 1 damage to one of my minions with the lowest health, which then can be used to obviously hit into my Miracle Salesman or anything else. They do end up dealing with my Living Horizon here. And then I played out my Ethereal Oracle and my Living Horizon, and then I'm going to draw some more cards using the spell damage. And then I draw into my Prismatic Beam and also my O Manager, which isn't extremely effective, but with the hand that I've got with the Lynessa, it means that I can use the Lynessa to get an extra 2 coins using O Manager as well. They end up drawing the 3 cards. They use their spell to get some good card advantage through that. But once again, they're still not really in a position to be able to deal with my board. And each time they're using that spell, they're dealing damage to their own face as well. So they trade into me there. I also get a metal detector. So I have a few options here of what I could do. Since I don't have any glow sticks in my since I don't have any glow sticks in my hand, I don't really want to use the Lynessa just yet, because it's too risky to be doing that. So I end up just hitting with my metal detector, and I believe I just play down the Silverwing, and I pass over to them floating 1 mana. Because I could use the brew right now to put onto me, but since they aren't very likely to have the Time Winder, since they are, I think, are only at 4 at this point in time, there's no way that they can use it to be able to burst me down, so I just let them deal the damage to me. I draw into the glow sticks here, which is obviously the card that I was looking for just before. First, I use O Manager to hit into the opponent's face. I then use the coin. I use the second coin and the third coin that I end up drawing into as well. I play down the Grifter, and I'm hoping for damage here. But reducing the cost obviously is quite strong too. I can use that twice. I end up doing the draw cards first, because it allows me to get an extra 2 cards into my hand. I get another glow sticks, which then essentially just wins me the game. Let's for it. I get the Greedy Partner, so I play that down since my glow sticks currently cost 2. I get an extra coin. And then I have the damage onto me. The brew onto me, the Divine Brew, then the 2 glow sticks, and then that's the end of the game once I've used the Mixologist bit as well. So yeah, like the deck is able to combo down quite well once you get your spells out. You're able to deal quite easily with tempo, because that's the idea of what you're wanting to do. And then you want to do the last bit as burst onto the opponent with your minions. With your Lynessa play. So going into the Paladin, I'm now assuming that it's going to be another Lynessa Paladin. There obviously is hand buff Paladin going around at the moment in lower legend ranks, but Lynessa is more common in the higher legend ranks. So I obviously, even whichever Paladin that you end up playing against, you want to mulligan for tempo, and yeah, that's the best way to establish your control against them. They played our Miracle Salesman, which means they're more than likely playing the Lynessa Paladin as well. So my game plan here is to try and get trying to get coins into my hand while also not playing down too many minions they're able to take down with the metal detector, because obviously that limits the Lynessa play and also their ability to get to the Titan. I end up playing down my metal detector and trade into their Miracle Salesman as well, so they end up getting a card, I end up getting a coin. And now I don't really want to play down any minions that can be taken out by that metal detector, because if they end up getting they obviously with their hand they don't really have too much. Drawing into the Living Horizon is quite strong. I do want to play down my Silverwing before using the Living Horizon, just simply because I want to be able to get the holy spells out of my deck. I could have used the Living Horizon that turn, and it possibly could have been a misplay not using that first. But I did just want to, yeah, I did just want to establish one of my abilities to get the glow sticks. And I then use my Living Horizon and place it down. And since I've got a second one as well, I can use that in combination with the Ethereal Oracle if I need to. They play down another gold panel, so this is, symbolizing that they're going to be able to draw a lot more cards than I am, since I, yeah, since they do have the gold panel there, and I've also then played down my Ho Silverwing to be able to hit into that will be able to hit into the Living Horizon too. Drawing into that second Ethereal Oracle means I can play both Ethereal Oracles this turn and draw an extra 4 spells. I do use it first, which is a little bit of a misplace since I should have been trading with my my Hi-Ho Silverwing just in case I got all of my holy spells just then. Luckily I didn't. I still do run a few that aren't. I don't at the moment have an easy way to deal with this Living Horizon, so I end up having to use my glow sticks and my extra coin that's in my hand to hit into the Living Horizon and then hit into the gold panel. And then I pass over to them. So with my hand that I have here, I do have it is quite strong. And them using the Prismatic Beam, it's not a very great turn for them because they're not able to establish anything. I play down my Living Horizon, and then I also play down my Mixologist at the same turn, and then I just play down and use my hero power. Going into next turn, it's quite likely they could have the Titan, or they could be getting close to having their Lynessa play. They do play down their Titan, and then they're going to use it to draw the 2 minions, so they're obviously hoping for the Lynessa play through that. They do have 10 cards, so they do have to use one of their coins here. They use the coin, and then they put a Divine Brew on themselves, so they're also watching out for the Lynessa play against me. So drawing into the Cultist here is quite strong because it brings down the likelihood of their Lynessa play popping off really well, because it will stop them being able to use O-managers, but it also makes it so the coins only give 1 extra rather than 2 extra. With this here, I don't want to play down that deals 2 damage to all minions, because of what they have. I do want to cycle, I do want to establish some more board control as well. So I hit with my O-manager into them. I then hit with my other O-manager. I trade my Mixologist to my Living Horizon, and then I end up using a coin and playing down the Cultist. And then I pass over to them. So the idea behind this is I don't want to... I want to establish as much board control as I can while also reducing down the ability of them to take me out with their Lynessa play. And with the cards that I have in my hand, it should be enough tempo on the board to be able to deal with them since they've used their Prismatic Beam. And you'll see shortly they just concede. Thank you once again for watching the video. I hope that you've enjoyed it and it's been beneficial for you. Please like and subscribe for more gameplay footage.